So I think you've touched on this, but maybe we can just take it again in case there's more you want to say about it. But I think you and I both believe that psychedelics have the potential to bring about very, very meaningful change in our healthcare systems, maybe even more broadly than that. Why do you think there's so much promise here in mental health, or maybe even health more broadly?
hmm Yeah, there's a lot of ways I could go in answering that
Yeah.
question. I mean, the first thing that comes up is just this notion of a paradigm shift, where, in my view, what psychedelic assisted psychotherapy proposes is that uh, we can have the intention of uh, helping individuals to heal, to
Hmm.
deeply heal from mental health conditions, from, chronic illness, and that the location of that healing is inside them. We talk about this concept of an inner healer or innate healing intelligence, as part of preparation of people going into these experiences, to trust that that's there and to allow that to guide the process, and that as therapists and guides, we're holding space for that, the location of healing, to be intrinsic to that person. And I mean, of course, that is true. Like, you cut yourself and then you keep the conditions clean and dry, and your cells know how to knit themselves back together, right? There is an intelligence there. But I think what our broader system has sort of conditioned us into uh, perceiving is that we need to be fixed somehow by external people, or modalities, or surgeries or drugs, people that know more than us, and there's this almost, um, not like a victim, but there's just less empowerment, I
Yeah,
think,
more
in that
passive or
perspective.
something.
It's much more passive. Yeah, and I think the way our system is set up is it almost kind of encourages that. So, it's this active, you're the source of healing. We're going to create the optimal conditions, do our best to do that. And so that to me is really powerful, empowering, and I think will lead to a lot of um, support for motivation and health behavior change. And so that's, just one aspect of the paradigm shift. Another is, as I mentioned, with respect to how much I respect Gabor and his work, is just this breaking, quitting this view that comes from biological reductionism, that you know the mind and the body are separate, and that it's all like, Western medicine is very materialistic, and there's a lot of benefit from that. We've learned so much. I mean, it's amazing how much we understand our cellular biology, and yet it parses things apart and creates, silos of specialties. For example, where this doctor treats this system and this doctor treats this system, and it's all very focused on the physical. So there's all these kind of discrete uh, categorizations, and people get many different diagnoses and go to see many different specialists for each of those separate things. Yet, when you really zoom out and take this more systems approach, which I actually didn't mention as well, I'm a certified functional medicine practitioner, which is a systems biology view. It's like, actually, no, it's all interconnected. We're alive ecosystems, and mind and body are absolutely intricately, simultaneously co-arising. They can't be separated. I have a thought. That thought is producing chemicals that are influencing my state. So I really see that psychedelic assisted psychotherapy is going to um, really support this awareness of the approaches that are targeting our emotional well-being and our nervous system regulation and our mental, what we term mental well-being, will translate into physical, like positive physical outcomes. Because we know, and this is again in Gabor's work, stress is just this common, or the stress response is this common underlying factor between a multiplicity of different expressions of illness, whether we call them mental or physical. So I'm really excited for that, and for the ways that as we continue to research different applications of psychedelic assisted psychotherapy, that we're going to see and learn how much more broadly this type of intervention may be applicable. And the final tag on to that is to actually support more systemic funding for psychotherapy in general, psychedelics aside, right? We already have evidence for that. We already know that if people have access to psychotherapy, they visit their family physician less. There's psychotherapy is as opposed to pharmacotherapy for mental illness is the research shows that it likely has much longer term benefits, is more impact on quality of life for people rather than just symptom management, and that people prefer it and there's less side effects. So even if psychedelic assisted psychotherapy can also just usher this change in our system to bring parity to approaches that support individuals' mental well-being, that would be a win in my perspective.
Hey, thanks for checking out that clip of the Mindspace podcast. You can get the full episode here on YouTube or check it out on your favorite podcast platform. Thanks, and be well.